secrets to the air. Do you jump or do you dare? Tick tock, the heat won't stop. The lid shakes like it's gonna pop. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not. Cyril's cards fell just as planned. He dealt the aces, played his hand, but the crowd's awake, their voices loud. A restless wave, a roaring crowd. Tick tock, the time runs thin. Boiling point, it's sink or swim. The pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not. Pot boils over. Pot boils over, like it or not. Pot boils over again. Pressure rising, no way to pretend you can stay or leap. Take your shot. The pot boils over, like it or not. Pot boils over. 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 Pot boils over, like it or not.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Friday the 13th, February 13th, 2026. No, not Friday the 13th. It is indeed Friday the 13th. Sound check now. The 13th sounds pretty good. Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Time for the news analysis, but some programming announcements ahead of that. After this broadcast at 1 Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. South Africa time, and 11 West Coast time, the Smiths, no, not the band, the Smiths, I don't have them on here, but the Smiths will be joining us from San Diego, sunny Southern California. Yet another refugee interview. For those of you exhausted, too bad. That's coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you'll be directed to that from this broadcast afterwards, should you wish to watch that. So that's coming up. Looking forward to that. We just had an interview with Earl Naidoo from the Rescue South Africa Civil Rights Alliance, trying to hold the ANC accountable for what they believe are human rights abuses in South Africa, and I think it'd be easy to agree with them. Some other programming announcements here. Tomorrow, it's Six Nations Actions, but once again, another refugee interview at 8 Eastern. Well, actually, it was going to be a busy day for me. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I have to do an interview with Biz News, and rather than doing it on Sunday, so that's 7 o'clock tomorrow. I've got Biz News. 8 o'clock, we've got Bruce the Service Dog in Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, latest announcement, my latest trip to visit refugees, interview them, meet with them, and encourage them on their arrival in America will be in Pittsburgh at the end of this month. In 2 weeks' time, I'll be traveling to Pittsburgh. If you happen to be a refugee in and around the Pittsburgh area and would like to link up, you're welcome to do that with me. I'll be visiting Bruce the service dog and the family there and anyone else who might be in the Pittsburgh area coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that in-person arrival. So that's coming up. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, I will also have Six Nations on tomorrow after the Biz News interview, then the RefG interview. Then it'll be the 2 games this weekend. I'm covering Ireland, Scotland's games. So looking forward to that tomorrow. On Sunday, we have yet another RefG interview. This one with an anonymous person who is in the Tar Heel State. And we'll give that person name as Yanni. Okay. So looking forward to that as well. Okay, let's get to a discussion of what's happening today. The Olympics continue, and at this hour, the 10,000-meter race is underway. They've just completed, I know they're still finishing 11 laps to go with this. I mean, can you imagine 10,000-meter ice skating? That's 10 kilometers, ladies and gentlemen. 10 kilometers. It's like a 15, 16-minute run. Pair 4 of 6 that are skating in the 10,000-meter of 12 racers. The leader has a 7-minute 32-point mark at this stage with several laps to go. 6 kilometers, 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Grueling, grueling. 500 meters, that's a speedster's thing. But Giotto is 3.87 seconds behind the pace, and his Dutch counterpart is at 5.69, falling off the pace, the Italians and the Dutch in this race. That is a grueling, grueling race. 10,000 meters, 10 kilometers skating on the ice. It's not something I look forward to. Later today, the U.S. women take on their opponent in the first, I think it's Sweden, if I'm not mistaken, the first quarterfinal match in the Olympics. All right. Yes, 10,000 meters is 6 miles. That's just brutal. Good evening to everyone here. All right, so if you have a RefG question, please keep it to yourself or till the end of this conversation. Once we finish with the news, then we'll go from there. All right, also I encourage you folks, just another program announcement. If you're not getting notifications of my live streams and my videos, it's a consequence of YouTube not sending it out. If you like the content and you want to support the channel, I ask you, I don't plead, but I do ask that you go to the channel periodically and check it. You should know that every single day, regardless of rain, snow, sleet, hail, unless I'm traveling or there's no internet, I do a news broadcast, whether it's on my mobile, on my laptop, or from my studio here every single day at 6 p.m. South African time. And I adjust my time when we have daylight savings time to conform to South Africa's time every day. Plus, we have night owls. Right now, it's at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning for South Africans and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So please feel free to tune in and also, look for my content. I do appreciate everyone who finds my content. It's not so easy to do. It's very easy. People are like, I can't find your stuff. Well, go at Colonel Chris Wyatt. Put it in YouTube. It will give you that. It will not hide that from you. Go list the videos, every single video, whether it's a live, unless it's a short. Every video will be listed. Then you can go to the shorts, you can look at every short, and you go to lives, and look at every live on there. It's a piece of cake. And lives will also show you upcoming lives, so you don't miss ones that are coming. All right, cool beans. Cecilia Kruger says, I'm more regular than Old Faithful. Yes. Well, I don't know if that's true, but I thank you for that. Let's get to analysis and reporting on yesterday's events and today's events. Yesterday's event, of course, was Cyril Ramaphosa giving a State of the Nation address, which is more like a comedy hour, to say the least. The man never shut up. I finally gave up after an hour and 40 minutes. We went and did our interview because we interviewed the first Indians ever interviewed in the RefG program. No caps, please. Thank you. That was just removed. Guys, it's a simple rule. Appreciate you trying to support the channel, but please do not put caps. That's reserved for Hendo. When I see caps, then I know it's Hendo. I know it's urgent. So please do not put caps in there. Only Hendo is allowed to do that. Ramaphosa talks turnaround, but the Mshlanga Commission and Panyaza Lesufi are South Africa's reality. That's the reality of South Africa, not turnaround. With his baby blue tie and his empathetic looks, he failed to achieve what he wanted. No reason to apologize, Winterwolf. You probably didn't know. No reason to apologize, but thank you for conforming to that. It's just a rule we have. It's not like it's posted on the page. President Ramaphosa delivered an upbeat and positive State of the Nation address, just a fantasy island. I felt like I was watching Mr. Rourke. The plane! The plane! Thank you, Tattoo. The plane is coming. Yes, the plane of South Africa's disaster is about to crash into Table Mountain. Talked about steady progress. I don't know what planet he's living on. Steady progress for South Africa, if only that were true. Ramaphosa will deploy the army in gang-ridden Cape Town in Gauteng. The plane! The plane! Okay, Tattoo. We got it. The plane's coming. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Rourke. I'm your host for this fantasy island. I think that Cyril would be kicked off the island if they ever did that. He's deploying the army to Gauteng and Kailichi. Never mind the fact that the army is ill-suited for this, ill-equipped, and not professional. Never mind that reality, folks. We'll just ignore that. And by the way, that's a video I've just produced. Has 720 views already in the first half hour. That's a lot less than I'd hoped for. But yes, Ramaphosa is deploying the army. He's sending the troops to stop gangs. Really? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Not going to work. Didn't work so well in KZN and Gauteng in July 2021. No. Didn't work so well in the Congo recently as they ran away. They ran away. Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away. The brave Sandef bravely ran away. And look, I don't blame the troops. They're not trained properly. They're not equipped. What are you supposed to do? Sit there and be shot to death by people who have better equipment than you, who are rebels? I think that's fair. 11 key points according to News 24. Mohammed Hussein says the army deployed foot and mouth disease is now finally a national disaster years after it destroyed the economy. And the water war room, a water war room. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has a failure of crime intelligence in July 2021 crisis. I am therefore appointing a task team. Yes. The Lady R incident has occurred and people are concerned about it. Therefore, I'm appointing a task team, an investigating body. The commander of the South African National Defense Force went to Iran and pledged allegiance to a terror state and said they're our friends. I'm therefore appointing a task team investigation. There is corruption in SAPS. I'm appointing a task team to do that. There's no toilet paper in the State House. I'm appointing a task team to do that. Yes, we're going to investigate. Yes, the Vreda Dairy Farm scandal, I will investigate that with a task team. PPE scandals, task teams. I'm appointing, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news out of South Africa where President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a task team to oversee the army of task teams that he's assigned to investigate the cover-ups that his party is perpetrating on the innocent people of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Task Team Headquarters, where we investigate the task teams that investigate nothing. The task team. Yes. The army's deployed. Organized crime is enemy number one. No, I think many South Africans think enemy number one is the cancer itself. That's right. It has not rained today. We will appoint a task team to find out why it hasn't rained today. Yes. Enemy number one. Public enemy number one is organized crime. I will inform the National Assembly and National Council of Provinces regarding the time and place of deployment of our soldiers and what it will cost. Why bother? They'll already know because you have already informed the gangsters where the police are going to be and where the military are going to be so they can avoid them. The water crisis war room. Oh, a war room. We're appointing a war room. We're declaring war on poverty. We're declaring war on FMD. We're declaring war on water. We're declaring war on electricity. I'm going to appoint a minister of foot and mouth disease. Who likes to put his foot in his mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, have you met my white minister of agriculture? He is my minister of foot and mouth disease. See his foot in his mouth? That's right. We are appointing, it's a war. South Africa is at war, ladies and gentlemen. It's serious. It's real. It's so real, we're deploying SANDF. The war is everywhere. It's a war on water. It's a war on whites. It's a war on corruption. It's a war on progress. It's a war on capitalism. It's a war on the names of these colonial towns that were established by these evil colonial bastards in violation of African norms. It's a war. The war is on. The war is on. Mr. Ramaphosa, I don't have a job. Can I be on a task team? Oh, my goodness. My goodness. It's a circus. That's right. Key takeouts. Takeout. What is that? Is that like Uber Eats, a takeout, a takeaway? What the hell is that? A takeout in American English is a takeaway. Key takeaways from the Uber Eats address of the president. Look at that somber face. 100 minutes. Is that all it took? It seemed like it was longer. ESCOM unbundling. Oh my goodness, more disaster. Lifestyle audits for the police. How about lifestyle audits for Cyril Ramaphosa? Inquiring minds want to know where the $580,000 stuffed in your sofa went to, sir. Where did the $580,000 in violation of customs, immigration, SARS, tax revenue, where did that money go? Was it reported on his tax return? Was it on the Pala Pala tax return? Does anybody know? Can somebody tell us, please? $580,000. Want to do a lifestyle audit? Let's start right with the president of the republic and go from him to the deputy president who lives in a 26 million rand Western Cape mansion. And when he's in Gauteng, he lives in another expensive mansion. He's never had money to pay for that. He doesn't pay for that. He stays there gracias a his son-in-law, who gets tenders from the government. Not chicken tenders, mind you, but contract tenders. The corruption is so deep. It's so pervasive. It's so embedded. It's just so ANC. That's right. New commercial courts. Oh, now we're having new courts. Oh, there you go. To prevent undue delays in critical projects, we'll establish specialized courts for commercial. You don't have enough qualified jurists now. You don't have enough judges that actually can walk and chew gum at the same time. And you're going to create more courts? Who's going to be in charge of them? Julius Malema? Ooh, well, that sounds like a plan. The Minister of Foot and Mouth Disease. Yep. John, my Minister of... Yep. Sponsored by Uber Eats. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a paid endorsement from Uber Eats. We go now live to the Union Buildings in Pretoria, where our white Minister of Agriculture is discussing foot and mouth disease. I'm announcing today that I'm firing the best member of my task team against foot and mouth disease. He won't sign a piece of paper, therefore he's gone. The preceding was a paid announcement sponsored by Uber Eats. And now back to our regular programming. We've turned a corner. We're leaving behind an era of decline. Houston, we have a problem. Earth to Ramaphosa. Earth to Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa, this is Houston. Yes. Ramaphosa, are you in orbit? You seem to be in another world. We've turned a corner. What corner is that? In your blue light escort? Another national disaster is called in South Africa. We have a national disaster for gender-based violence. We have a national disaster of the ANC. We have a national disaster for water. We have a national disaster for crime. And now a national disaster for the often neglected foot and mouth disease. Let's hear from our white Minister of Agriculture. The Department of Cooperative Government. Yeah, they've turned a corner right over a cliff. The Department of Government, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has classified yet another national disaster, marking the fourth such call in as many months, and the second in February. So, ladies and gentlemen, Cyril Ramaphosa says where'd the camera go? There it is. Cyril Ramaphosa says we've turned the corner. We've turned the corner. Yet in the past 4 months, South Africa has declared 4 national disasters. I submit to you that 4 national disasters is not turning the corner. It's going off the cliff. What the hell? 4 national disasters in 4 months. Disaster on disaster on disaster. Yeah, look at this. Here you go. Here's some of these politicians looking at us there. It's our white Minister of Agriculture, Mr. John Steenhuisen. The latest national disaster marks the 4th such since November. The National Disaster Management Center classified drought conditions impacting 3 provinces as national disasters. In January, it classified disaster following severe weather and widespread flooding in affected Limpopo, Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Northwest. In November, a national disaster was declared on gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that under the African National Congress, South Africa is the national disaster. Seriously? Well, this story is bound to get some play because CBS's Barry Weiss is running this story, written by Madeline Rowley. African refugees in U.S. barely scraping by. Can they not afford another photograph? How many times are going to show this same damn photograph from May 12th of 2025? Over and over and over again. The Free Press investigative reporter Madeline Rowley told CBS News this week that many of the Afrikaners are barely scraping by because of what they said are failures in this government. Now, here's the problem with this. This is simply taking an article from someone else. See, when I read you the news, I give you the news. I tell you the impact of that news. I also tell you whether it's fake news or it's opinion, and I give you my analysis and oftentimes my projections. That's value added. There's no value added here. This is simply copying what Madeline Rowley came up with in her free press report and in the CBS News. And there's also an error here. Many of the Afrikaners, first off, they're not Afrikaners. They're South Africans. Some are Afrikaners, some are English speaking, some are colored, some are Indian, and a few are black. So they're not Afrikaners. Fake news, number one. Number two, barely scraping by, many of them. That's a lie. Madeline Rowley spoke to 10 people who were referred to her by Mike and by Shelley Hepburn. She didn't ask me. I told her, but then did appear in an article. 10 people. I told her and I cautioned her that, yes, that is true. There are about 3% of the people who have come over max who are going through this problem. But this is being played up for effect, as if everyone's going through this. Received emails last night from people and WhatsApp messages who have arrived in the past 48 hours who are having a wonderful experience so far. Met at the airport, given cell phones, a brand new iPhone. People got two brand new iPhones. I don't have an iPhone. I can't afford an iPhone. They gave it to refugees. That's not the norm, but that's what this refugee agency did. And they put it in nice places, lots of food in the fridge, yada, yada, yada. Help finding jobs. People in here for a week already got a Social Security number. They had an appointment for them before they even arrived. It's incredible. Some refugees are receiving hideous care and treatment. Not many. That's fake news. Fake news. Each refugee is allotted $2,000, and all of that's been going to rent, so they're left with nothing. That's also factually incorrect. That's the case for some refugees, not all. So it's important to be objective and tell the truth here. South African refugees are left to fend for themselves. But the story isn't South African Refugees by Madeline Rowley. That's the title here. The story here, ladies and gentlemen, is that these organizations are not getting the proper oversight from the U.S. government. The Free Press spoke to 10 people from South Africa who entered as refugees. 10. 1,987 refugees through January 31st. Not the 1,600 I mentioned here. That's December 31st. It's not even December. That's this fiscal year, excuse me. So that's also a misnomer. There have been 1,987 refugees who have arrived here since May 12th. The number cited in the report by Madeline Rowley is correct. It's correct, but it's this fiscal year. It's also a distortion of the actual number. So if you reduce the number and mention the cases, 10 people out of 1,600 sounds worse, but it's 10 out of 2,000. That's not even 1%. I've said the number's around 3% because I've seen more people. Anyway. Yep. President Ramaphosa sends a warning to businesses in South Africa. He says, if you hire illegals, we're coming after you. Really? Wow. So South Africa is xenophobic, racist, anti-African, anti-immigrant. Is that the truth? What's going on here, folks? Inquiring minds want to know. Ramaphosa says we're going to crack down. That isn't going to happen. South Africa relies on 4 million illegal aliens to work. Now, here's a promise that will never be fulfilled. You ready for this? Are you ready for this? I will resign if we lose. Patriotic Alliance leader Gate McKenzie on a critical George by-election. Well, he's pretty confident. Patriotic Alliance leader Gate McKenzie has vowed to resign if his party fails to win Ward 16, the upcoming George by-election. Residents of Kalsdorp head to the polls. Was that next Wednesday? It must be next Wednesday. Excuse me, next, or is that, no. That was this Wednesday. So what happened? What happened? Anybody know? Did they win the election? Did he resign? Let's see if we can't find this. Palkopsdorp, okay. It's, come on, George by-election. Okay. There we go. Results, let's see. Oh, the PA won, so he didn't resign. He didn't resign. Okay, Daily Maverick has that story. I couldn't find it previously. Now I found it. So he did resign. Well, that wasn't much of a prediction here. He knew he was going to win big time, so not much of a prediction here. I will resign. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. So Gabe McKenzie promised to resign if his party lost, but they didn't lose. The PA crushes the to bag its third George seat. The IFP sees off ANC to retain Zumba in KZN. Wow. George, Ward 16. The PA 65%, up from 22%. The DA, 34%, down from 46%. They're now the second largest party. And the ANC is less than 1%. The Truth Party, less than 1%. Look at that, folks. Looky there. 65% of the vote. The DA is dying. Thank you, John Steenhuisen, for destroying this party. In the provincial election in 2024, the DA got 52% of the vote, and the PA got 38%. Now they have 65%. Wow. The ANC was destroyed. The DA is being destroyed. And the EFF has got nothing. Wow. My goodness. The PA routed the DA by 890 votes to win its 5th award in Georgia since 2021. Best performance with the by-election with 65% win. Wow. In KwaZulu-Natal, the IFP beat the ANC. And MK. MK only got 16% there. Interesting. Well, Kate McKenzie, not going to resign. But there is a resignation, ladies and gentlemen. The head of the Rhodean school has resigned with immediate effect. Rhodean's head, Puti Mohale, has resigned with immediate effect after weeks of controversy surrounding a canceled sports fixture with King David Linksfield. The head of Rhodean school has reportedly resigned following weeks of controversy surrounding an audio recording that cast doubt on the school's claim that a canceled sports fixture with King David was due to scheduling issues. But of course, it was due to rampant Jew hatred, anti-Semitism. The Rhodean head has resigned. Rhodean school has confirmed the resignation of senior school head Puti Mohale after the fallout over a canceled tennis fixture against King David. In a community update, the board said it's accept the resignation of the school's principal. The board has accepted the resignation, and he stepped down as head of senior school with immediate effect. South African Jewish Board of Deputies condemned the incident, saying the disturbing refusal to play Jewish learners is deeply upsetting for the Jewish tennis players, but also conveys a message that hate and discrimination have become acceptable values at Rhodean. Yes, Rhodean is obviously a hotbed of racism and bigotry, hate and discrimination, according to comments from public officials. One political party won't stand for this. They are taking these people to task. The Freedom Front Plus will take action against the alarming pattern of anti-Semitism and the marginalization of minority groups within the educational sector. In a statement released on Wednesday, said the battle between Jewish King David School and Rhodean revealed a much deeper issue. The controversy centers on a tennis match between the Jewish King David School and Rhodean that did not take place. Disturbing refusal to play Jewish learners is deeply upsetting. Yep. So, we are facing a bit of pressure from our community and constituents regarding just not playing. That's what the excuse was. But the Freedom Front Plus has entered the fray. They joined the battle this week, saying it reveals an alarming pattern of anti-Semitism. Yes, the possibility that ethnicity is an underlying factor makes it serious, said the Freedom Front Plus in his statement. Section 235 of the Constitution entrenches the right of every community sharing a common linguistic and cultural heritage to freely express its identity. In the Freedom Front Plus's view, cultural groups that wish to do so are justified in seeking legislation that guarantees their right to culture-based education. There you go. There you go. Dark clouds for alcohol producers as Ramaphosa targets the alcohol industry. Ooh, clouds are gathering, ladies and gentlemen. President Ramaphosa has announced a new government push to curb alcohol use in the country, which will impact both consumers and producers of the products. In his 2025, that was last year, he said the state was forging ahead with several interventions, but now they want to tackle social ills. Key interventions mentioned by the president in his 2026 State of the Nation address: limiting the density of liquor outlets, restricting trading hours. Interesting. Businesses will be hit hard. Well, they're going after alcohol. What are they not going after here? Is there nothing that they won't fleece? Well, what to expect from Johannesburg's water emergency as measures kick in. How come all the protesters are white? Well, there's one black dude there, too. Johannesburg's water emergency management operations were officially launched yesterday. The plan to stabilize the city's water systems after weeks of outages includes water shifting and soft locking. Okay. New phrases: load shedding, soft locking, and water shifting. Yes. Water systems considered stabilized when the reservoirs are all above 40%, but they're not. As part of the intervention to stabilize the water system, Water and Sanitation Minister Pemi Mojadine, the clouds are gathering, Tata! The clouds are gathering! Yes, in a press briefing on Thursday, said that Johannesburg would implement water shifting, where water is moved from a healthy reservoir to a struggling reservoir. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself. I just can't. You got to laugh. It's just so sad. You got to laugh. I mean, honestly, folks, you know what the deal is. You know what it is.
Stupid people should wear signs, neon bright, so we can find a way to dodge their tangled mess, avoid their chaos more.
Say less.
Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Not an ad,
Don't waste your time.
Politicians dance and spin, blatant lies with a practiced grin. Blame the moon, blame the stars, blame the traffic or faulty cars. You think they're 6, not 35, playing games to stay alive. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Save me from your twisted line. Wear a sign, wear a sign. Nada, nada, don't waste your time. Celebrities with tails so tall, lost my yard.
Hold on. Sorry, folks. Breaking. I'm receiving a phone call now. It's from the office of Minister Pemi Mojadina. Hang on a sec. Sorry, folks. Hang on. Yes. You have a task team. You're appointing a task team to oversee your task team about why there's no water in Joburg. Okay, thank you. I'll announce this. Anything else? Oh, you found the reason why there's no water. There's no water because the pipes are leaking and you haven't repaired them in 32 years. Okay. And what about the Highland Water Project? Wasn't that supposed to be completed, phase 2 and phase 3, back in late 1990s? Oh, the money went elsewhere. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's breaking news from Pemi Mojadina's office. They are appointing a task team to oversee the task team to explain why there's no water in Joburg. Just thought I'd share that with you. Yeah. So anyway, back to our regular programming now. All right. Yeah. So anyway. So what was truly groundbreaking about the State of the Nation address? Was there anything groundbreaking? Did you guys see something groundbreaking? I didn't. But according to the Times Live, which carries the water for the president, by the way, what's with the closed fist over your heart? I've never heard of such a thing. You have an open fist over your heart. I mean, has anyone ever seen it? I've never seen it before. Who does this when they render honors to the nation? You do this. You put your hand over your heart. This, what is this? Some sort of, some sort of pala symbol? Is this like a Masonic temple symbol? Should he put a thumbs up? Stick a finger out? What's going on? I mean, who does that? It's like this. I mean, sorry. I've never seen that before. It was news to me. President Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address outlined a wide range of interventions from deploying SANDF to crime hotspots to reforming failing municipalities and tackling water crisis. Professor Susan Boyson says most measures were extensions of existing policy rather than bold new departures. Agreed. There's very little that one can really describe as groundbreaking, she said. Yep, exactly. So why does the story say what was true groundbreaking? Well, very little, according to Professor Susan Boyson. I've asked her to come on the program previously. She was unavailable. I've asked her to come on again. Hopefully she come on and talk to me next week about what's going on with the State of the Nation address. Was it a pala symbol? Okay, that's what it is. Okay. Power outage. But I thought there was no power outages. I mean, the pylons have been fixed in PE, and there's no load shedding in South Africa. So what's going on there? I stand by the issue. Gotcha. Unknown to me. 4 steel companies are raided by the South African government. The Competition Commission has launched raids on 4 steel production companies in South Africa, conducting search and seizure operations on suspicion of price fixing. Wow. Germiston, Nigel, Vanderbilt Park, and Hammanskraal Companies under investigation operate as buyers of shredded or processed scrap metals, which they use to produce long steel products. The Commission has reasonable grounds to suspect that the companies have engaged in fixing the price of shredded or processed scrap steel. Well, while that's a real concern, I'd be more concerned about whether these companies are processing stolen metal, like the copper recyclers. Eastern Cape Judge President Selby Mabenge was put on special leave pending a Judicial Service Commission decision. According to a statement, his leave would remain in effect until the Judicial Service Commission has concluded its consideration of the report of the Judicial Conduct Tribunal and formally communicated its decision. What did he do? What did he do? He's faced sexual harassment accusations from Secretary Andizwa Mengo. He was found not guilty, but was found guilty of misconduct for initiating and conducting a flirtatious relationship with her on WhatsApp. So he's more worried about dipping his wick than delivering judicial decisions. Well, buddy, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You don't get paid to dip your wick. If you want that, you can join Dirk Diggler in the porn industry. State insurer flouted human resources warning to appoint a CEO to an unqualified CEO. The Saricia board appointed CEO Mpumi Tikwe despite being aware that he lacked the academic qualifications required for the job. South Africa's Special Risk Insurance Association board knew that when it appointed its incumbent CEO Mpumi Tikwe back in 2022 that he lacked the required qualifications. Well, he continues to serve as CEO. Of course he does. Why would we fire someone that's incompetent, not capable of doing the job? If we did that, we would be held accountable. Why would we do that? Tongaat Hulett in trouble, folks. Tongaat Hulett heads for liquidation. My goodness. So much for this venerated sugar manufacturer from 1892. Tongaat Hulett is heading for liquidation after the failure of business rescue plan to put forward by a consortium called Vision. Vision said the failure was regrettable. The group's business rescue practitioners said the consortium made a deal impossible with untenable surprise demands. Of course, they want money in their pockets. They collapsed amid South Africa's second biggest accounting firm after big accounting fraud after Steinhoff, leaving a pile of debt of some 12 billion rand. South Africa's largest sugar producer is heading for liquidation. This follows the failure of the company's strategic partners to agree on funding. The sale of business agreements lapsed on February 7th. Tongaat has since received a letter of demand from Vision for approximately 11.7 billion, stated to be immediately due and payable. Wow. Found in 1892 and named after the Utongati River in southeastern KwaZulu-Natal, liquidation concerns Tongaat Hulett Limited. The South African business employs 2,500 people directly and more than 20,000 indirectly. Wow. A venerated company going under. British American Tobacco is blasting the South African government. Another company leaving South Africa. BAT warned South Africa's government for years that it would be forced to end production there if illegal cigarette sales weren't stamped out. Last month, the maker of Dunhill and Pall Mall followed through on its threat and announced plans to shut its only factory in South Africa by the end of the year. Now they rely on imports for South Africa, where a tobacco maker can trace its roots back more than a century. They cannot say they didn't know. Every time we did downsize, we went back to the government and said, look, we're doing all we can. The facility is located in Gauteng, has been operating since 1975, and it's the 8th largest worldwide. It employs 230 staff whose future is determined through a consultation process. Illicit cigarette trade in South Africa has been on the rise for more than a decade, and it really caught on fire during the COVID scam. Yep, when cigarette sales were made illegal, but the illicit cigarette traders took over the market. Sia Khaleesi has a dilemma. His son is struggling, is not struggling with Afrikaans like Sia did. Not surprising since his mother's Afrikaans. This week, Sia Khaleesi shared a relatable parenting moment, reflecting on his son's disappointment over his school mark and how it contrasted with his own challenging upbringing. He highlighted the emotional complexity of parenting, balancing pride in his son's ambition with the pain of his own past struggles. His story underscores the importance of breaking cycles, celebrating progress, and teaching children resilience and self-compassion. Oh, sorry. Did anybody fall asleep during that story? Sorry about that. Sorry. Gary Player asked to play golf with his grandsons at the Augusta course in Georgia, but he feels sad after he was denied the opportunity. South African golf legend Gary Player expressed sadness over Augusta National's refusal to allow him for a 4-ball round with his 3 grandsons. The 90-year-old nonagenarian, who won the Masters 3 times, has been an honorary starter since 2012, highlighted his deep love for Augusta, but criticized its strict rules under current management. While acknowledging the role he, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer played in elevating the Masters' reputation, Player emphasized the importance of mutual respect for differing opinions. But they won't let him play. Shame. He won the Jack in 61, 74, and 78. That's quite a gap, 61 to 78. He was the first foreign national to win the Masters. Zimbabwe's cabinet backs a constitutional overhaul that critics call a bid to extend the crocodile's rule. Emerson Mnangagwa just can't let go. When will these people die off? Zimbabwe's cabinet approved a sweeping change to the constitution that critics say were part of a bid to extend the president's term by 2 years until 2030. How can the cabinet approve a constitutional change? What kind of constitution is allowed to be changed by a corrupt band of criminals appointed around the president? That seems kind of self-serving. Botswana will be taxing the population because diamond sales are slumping. Insult to injury. Botswana plans to raise corporate and personal taxes to offset a slump in diamond revenue and rein in a widening budget deficit. Proposals submitted by the finance ministry to lawmakers this week include increasing company taxes by 2.5% to 24.5%. Oof. And raise the top personal income tax rate to 27.5%. The budget shortfall is 9% of GDP. Things are going bad in Botswana under the socialists. Botswana's inability and failure to diversify its economy despite 6-7 decades of trying is disheartening. Well, Norway is investigating a former prime minister over ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Lonseth, chief of the specialized Økokrim economic crime unit, says Jagland is suspected of aggravated corruption. What is aggravated corruption? Does it mean you do it with mean intent? Norwegian police say they've conducted searches of properties owned by former Prime Minister Thorbjørn Jagland as part of a corruption investigation into his connections with late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The probe was initiated after documents released by the Department of Justice in January indicated that Jagland and or members of his family may have stayed or vacationed Epstein's residences between 2011 and 2018. Norwegian television footage showed investigators carrying several boxes from his apartment. Jagland, 74, served as Norway's prime minister from 1996-97 during the period mentioned in the files. He was serving as chairman of the Norwegian Nobel Committee and Secretary General of the Council of Europe. In the documents released by the Justice Department, Epstein referred to him as the Nobel Big Shot. Aggravated corruption. What the hell is aggravated corruption? Another casualty of the Epstein files. No indication he did anything wrong, just named in the Epstein files, and now he's being harassed. The United States signed a trade deal with Taiwan, lowering tariffs just 15%, while Taipei will boost the purchase of American goods. Meanwhile, we go now live to South Africa's trade representative. This is the South African trade representative to the United States. There's nobody on camera. That's because there's no trade representative, no trade delegation, no genuine effort to lower the tariffs with South Africa. South Africans are stuck with a 30% tariff for all items except automobiles at 25% because the ANC is gaslighting its population. There is no trade representative. You see now live on the camera South Africa's trade delegation. They do not exist. They are vaporware. The preceding message was brought to you by the South African Competition Tribunal, making your life better day by day. South Africa still has a 30% tariff in effect since August. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 7 months. And South Africa was warned about this in April of last year, 9 months ago. Switzerland, Vietnam, UK, European Union, Canada, not so much Canada, China, South Korea, and now Taiwan have negotiated lower rates for tariffs. Where's South Africa? Bueller. Bueller. Dave's not here. Yes. Those are crickets you hear, ladies and gentlemen. So, South Africa is still in a bind because they're not negotiating. Meanwhile, oh, Trump is evil. Trump is terrible. The world is falling. The world is collapsing. Oh, my gosh. Remember when Trump became president 3 days later? Oh, egg prices are still too high. Dude's been president for like 72 hours, and you think he should lower the egg prices? He has no control over the private marketplace. This isn't a communist state. But what has happened under Trump? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what's happened under Trump is the following. Inflation is down again, but they can't bring themselves to admit that. Go to the New York Times and look for the story. The Epoch Times reports U.S. annual inflation rate slows sharply to 2.4% in January. Wow. There is a Costco in Elk Ridge, Maryland, where my uncle used to live. And if you look at that picture, there are no white or black Americans in the picture. Not a single one. You see some Asian lady, some Hispanic lady, some Nepalese-looking dude there. No white people whatsoever in Maryland. We've been invaded by the world, and our politicians let this happen. No white or black Americans in that photograph at all. Hispanics, Asians, Africans. No white Americans. Not a single one. Just a random photograph from a random Costco in a state that was 90% white and 8% black. What is going on? What is going on? The Department of Homeland Security is on track to shut down, on the shutdown with lawmakers leaving Washington. Yeah, so the shutdown will occur at midnight tonight, but ICE still gets funded, so I don't know what game they're playing. They think that they're stopping ICE. A bitterly divided Washington is headed for its third government shutdown lapse of President Trump's second term. This time a shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security over the issue of federal immigration enforcement. But ICE won't be shut down. It's funded. So I don't know what kind of game these idiots are playing. Some Democrats have blocked Department of Homeland Security funding over immigration tactics. And this evil bastard there who needs to be removed from the Senate, Chucky Schumer, the Crypt Keeper, never accomplished a damn thing in his life. Homeland Security shutdown could affect ICE, travelers, and Coast Guard. It's not going to affect ICE. It can affect travelers, though. Absolutely. Immigration enforcement, Customs, Border Protection. They employ 22,000 officers. Customs Border Protection employs 60,000 officials. Airport Security, Transportation Security Administration, 95% of the TSA's employees, 60,000, are required to report to work through the shutdown without being paid. Federal Emergency Management Agency, 85% of their employees are expected to work without pay. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has 22,000 employees, will continue working, which means that flights should continue from South Africa. CBS Americana News shook me. Why did it shook you, Swamped Out? I've reported this story previously. Why is a sensationalist story that's misrepresented shocking you? Are you not paying attention to my broadcast? The Coast Guard will continue to operate cyber security operations. The agency will require 888 of its 1,300 employees to continue working, so 1/3 of its staff will keep working. And 94% of the Secret Service workforce will keep working, 8,000 on the job. So there you go, folks. There you go. It will keep rolling despite the effort. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has revealed a new suspect and a reward for the Nancy Guthrie case. Yesterday announced it's increasing its award to $100,000 for information leading to the location of Nancy Guthrie or arrest and conviction of those responsible for her disappearance. After conducting a forensic review of the video, investigators described the suspect as a man about 5'9" or 5'10" of average build, wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack. The updated description is intended to help narrow the more than 13,000 tips they've received since February 1st. There you go. An American member of the U.S. Navy has fallen to his death off of a ship, fell overboard. U.S. Marine who fell overboard from an attack ship in the Caribbean, an attack ship, it's not an attack ship, in the Caribbean, has become first known American casualty in the Trump administration's targeting of drug trafficking boats. Lance Corporal Chukwuemeka Ofora fell from the USS Iwo Jima, which is an aircraft carrier, on February 7th and was lost at sea. was pronounced dead after a lengthy search, which ended 3 days later. The Florida native with a name from West Africa. Interesting. It's not an attack ship. It's an aircraft carrier. Well, what do we do about the FIFA World Cup? With ICE agents on the streets, the Irish Times, the scumbag, hateful, disgusting, vile, repulsive publication, says, should the U.S. host the World Cup? Shut up, Ireland. You've given your country away. Bernice Harrison says, for Alexander Abnos, senior sports editor of The Guardian, removing U.S. from the World Cup would be eminently sad and entirely justified. The killings by ICE agents, U.S. citizens, and their intimidatory presence on the city streets has been well reported globally, which may make traveling fans nervous. And that's if they get in the U.S. at all. Well, of course, the people weren't killed. The people were the architects of their own demise. This is just leftist tripe. And the intimidatory presence, ICE isn't on my streets. Isn't on my streets. You are a scumbag, the author of this article. You are a scumbag, propagandist, America-hating piece of human feces. Report the facts. If the Minneapolis-St. Paul Police Departments had turned over 1,400 convicted felons who have final deportation orders from this country after they raped, murdered, sodomized, stole, we wouldn't have this problem. These people, if they didn't step into the street and interfere with law enforcement, would not be dead. In January, former FIFA president, criminal Sepp Blatter, supported calls by the Swiss lawyer Mark Pieth for fans to boycott. Well, piss off. We don't want you here. Wow. Bernice Harrison is an Irish Times journalist and co-host of the news podcast, and she's a dishonest human being who lies, putting her opinion in this garbage. This is being reported as news, not opinion, news. Well, speaking of other idiots, Tafi Maka, who dribbles all kinds of nonsense, Africa must boycott the 2026 World Cup. Why not? None of them are going to win. No African country is going to win it. Just as it boycotted the Olympics to isolate apartheid South Africa, the continent must now confront U.S. support for Israel's war in Gaza. On January 6, a group of 25 British members of Parliament tabled a motion urging global sporting authorities to consider excluding the United States from hosting the World Cup until it demonstrates compliance with international law. Dutch broadcaster Toon van de Kuiken has backed a public petition urging withdrawal from the competition, while French parliamentarian Eric Coquerel has warned that participation risks legitimizing policies he argued undermine international human rights standards. Much of the scrutiny is focused on Trump's immigration crackdown and broad assaults on civil liberties. There are no assaults on civil liberties. I have freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of worship, the right to seek redress from my government, things I didn't have under the Biden regime. My right to worship was impinged upon and violates the Constitution. My right to free speech was impinged upon by the collusion, the coercion, and the cajoling of the Biden administration to silence critics who took away my YouTube channel. There are no civil liberties under threat here. This is lying tripe. The deaths of Minneapolis residents Renee and Nicole Good and Alex Petty during immigration enforcement operations triggered nationwide outrage and protests. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Nobody's marching in the streets of Harrisburg. There's nobody here marching. Nobody's outraged by this. There's no public demonstration. Nationwide, my ass. In 2026, at least 8 people have been shot by federal immigration agents or died in immigration detention. Yes, and who are these people? People who evaded law enforcement, criminal, convicted rapists, murderers, and pedophiles? You're going to cry tears over their violating the law? These developments are serious, but they point to a broader question about power and accountability, one that extends beyond domestic repression. There's no domestic repression here. These are criminals. They've already been convicted by courts of law. Ridiculous nonsense. Idiots. So many of them. Well, the old world is gone. That's the message Marco Rubio is taking to Europe. Marco Rubio. Rubio looks to re-examine relationship with allies at the Munich conference. Last year, J.D. Vance went. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is attending the Munich Security Conference. Could have an opportunity to clearly define Washington's relationship with its European allies after a turbulent year. He said he expects to discuss U.S. policy on Greenland and Russia with European officials and may meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Is he still around? We forgot about Volodymyr. He'll also meet with Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, who's looking for attention, and Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen. The old world is gone, frankly, the world that I grew up in, and we live in a new era of geopolitics, and it's going to require all of us to sort of re-examine what it looks like and what our role is going to be. He also intends to travel to Slovakia and Hungary after the conference, which takes place today through the 15th. Last year, J.D. Vance went. spoke at the conference and shocked the Washington European allies. Well, Denmark and Sweden will provide fighter jets for NATO Arctic Sentry mission. Well, it's about time. Yep, a military exercise in the Arctic region. Yep, Dutch F-35. Look at that. Denmark and Sweden have announced they will contribute fighter aircraft to NATO's Arctic Sentry mission as part of Europe's military contribution to the defense union's focus on Arctic and High North. Overdue. President Trump invites Latin American leaders to attend a summit in Florida next month in a bid to counter China's expanding influence in the region. No other information is available. Well, pride flag flies again at the Stonewall Inn, challenging a federal ban. New York officials restored the LGBTQ plus symbol, which the Trump administration ordered removed from the National Park Service. So New York elected officials are criminals in violation of federal law. They're doing what they want to do. Has Iran called Trump's bluff on what, Mark? Called his bluff on what? City leaders rehung a pride flag in front of Stonewall National Monument, a chaotic scene Thursday that included an American flag briefly being removed, a rebuke of the Trump administration's efforts to take down a symbol of the gay rights movement from federal property. At a ceremony at Stonewall Inn, Manhattan Borough President Brad Holloman-Segal, joined by city, state, and federal officials to raise the flag on a pole, an 8-acre property controlled by the National Park Service. The decision outraged New York leaders and activists who accused the Park Service of trying to erase the history of the nation's LGBTQ. How are they erasing the history? The whole thing is a national monument to the gay rights movement. So these are criminals who attacked a national monument. They should be arrested by federal authorities. The U.S. Marshals should be traveling to New York now to arrest these criminals. That's what should be happening. In 2016, under President Barack Obama, 8 acres around the Stonewall Inn, including Christopher Park, became a national monument governed by the Park Service. It was the nation's first national monument dedicated to the LGBTQ community. A visitor center funded with private donations opened next to the inn in 2024. And so these people have invaded federal property, ripped down the American flag, and put up a gay pride flag. They should all be arrested. There should be no question this. Media tribalism, media bias. Trump has got a flurry of lawsuits, which is changing the game for the media outlets. He's buried media outlets in an unprecedented avalanche of lawsuits alleging they defamed him and sullied his reputation, a move legal scholars say could strike the largest blow against media bias ever seen. Since 2024, he's filed lawsuits against 8 media companies demanding an astounding total of $65 billion in damages. Separately, he's suing the IRS for leaking his tax returns. Of the 9 lawsuits, 2 companies settled with the president for tens of millions of dollars, while 7 other cases are still pending. And more lawsuits are coming. He recently said he's going to sue that dipshit Trevor Noah for a joke he told during the Grammys. Wow. Crazy. Well, the United States has its oldest Olympian ever in the form of curler Rich Ruhonen, became the United States' oldest Winter Olympian ever when he took part in the Americans' 8-3 loss to Switzerland yesterday. The 54-year-old was brought in on one end with U.S. down 8-2 and a win likely out of reach. He helped the Americans score 1 point before they conceded the match. Wow, 54 years old. The previous oldest American to compete in the Winter Olympics was Joseph Savage when he was 52 in the 1932 Paris skating. Much more challenging. Archer Thomas Scott is the oldest American in any Olympics, competing in the 1904 St. Louis Games at the age of 71. You want to bet Thomas Scott's not around anymore? 71 in 1902, 1904. That man was born in the 1830s. Amid the Minnesota Laring School scandal that's taking place, we have real victims, real schools that are suffering as a consequence. Amid Minnesota fraud scandal, legitimate autism center faces closure. The kids are going to be collateral damage, says the owner of an autism center on the brink of financial collapse because of funding roadblocks. So they're getting no money because of the Laring School scandal. There it is. Kids are going to be collateral damage. The Minnesota Autism Center for Adults and Children, which has been operating for more than 20 years, is facing closure in the wake of a massive fraud scandal. The Holland Center is one of many legitimate centers in the state, which collectively serve thousands of disabled people. Founder, owner, and CEO Jennifer Larson built the Holland Center for her autistic, non-speaking son, who's now 25. She said she's recently been forced to put hundreds of thousands of her own dollars into keeping the center afloat because the state didn't pay a single claim for nearly 2 months. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to run this place per month. That's a pretty expensive place. It took that much money. Nicki Minaj. It's all about the bass, baby. Yep. Urges her fans to call on senators to pass the SAVE Act. Rapper Nicki Minaj is coaxing her fans into calling their legislators to urge them to pass a bill requiring documentation of U.S. citizenship to vote. Ms. Minaj recently announced she was President Trump's top fan, told her fans called Barbs to get your pretty little fingers out and call your senators. I'll bribe you if I have to. All right. Well, while I say on the left that political leftists have no business, celebrities engaging in this sort of thing, I'll say the same thing about Nicki Minaj. This is not helpful. You're welcome to be a fan of Trump and say you support Trump, but interfering in this is inappropriate. Well, Air Force troops are being mocked at the gate at one military installation because they're being told they sound like Walmart greeters. Air Force facing backlash over new mandatory gate greetings. The Altus Air Force Base personnel have been mocking, the gate guards have been mocked over a scripted "Victory Begins Here" greeting, according to internal email. The mandatory greeting are part of a broader cultural shift within the Air Force. Guards at the base in Oklahoma become targets of ridicule. The message recently sent out by senior enlisted leader Master Sergeant Bradley Opfar warned against mocking the guards known as defenders for delivering the scripted line, "Good morning, sir, ma'am. Welcome to Altus Air Force Base. Victory begins here." It frustrates me to write this to you all, but it's necessary. Anyone found disrespecting defenders will be held accountable. The message warns that troops could face charges under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, while civilian employees could be reported to their supervisors. So here's some of the things that these guards have faced since it came out. Don't tell me that anymore. You don't have to say that shit to me when I come through. You sound like a Walmart greeter. Wow. Who the hell talks to military personnel? You don't have to say that shit to me. I don't think these people should be on a military installation. I don't think they should be on there. Israel's Barak says he regrets knowing Epstein after the emails revealed his long relationship. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak has apologized for his years-long friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that included regular correspondence, multiple visits, and one to his private island. The former Israeli leader has not been implicated in the case and faces no accusations, but in an exclusive interview with Israel's Channel 12, he said he regretted having ever known Epstein and apologized to all those who feel deeply uncomfortable. Well, Ehud Barak. His name turns up frequently in the documents, saying he stayed in contact with Epstein for years, including after he cut a deal with prosecutors that resulted in an 18-month prison sentence. Wow. My goodness. Ehud Barak. And there you have the news for today, folks. What questions do you have? What questions? Do we have any likes on this thing? We have 248 likes. We got a refugee interview coming up in 49 minutes with the Smiths, not the band. What's going on? My phone is doing something over here. Let's see if it's important. What's this? All right. Nothing going on there. All righty. You may now ask a few questions. Yes, indeed. Who's being rude? Freedom of speech gives the right to say anything. No, it doesn't, Swamp Down. And I don't know what you're doing, but I'm looking after the chat. And if you've been an ass, you're going to be blocked. You don't have the right to speak, say anything you want. This is my channel. It's my chat. You have no rights here. None. None whatsoever. None. Freedom of speech is a protection from the government opposing you. It doesn't say anything about private institutions or organizations. They make their own rules. Freedom of speech is a constitutional right in America. It is protecting you from the state, not from individuals. First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an established religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. Congress cannot restrict your speech. Individuals can do what the hell they want. No, you have no freedom of speech. So you can sit here and talk bullshit all you want. It doesn't change the facts. So what did you say that was rude? Yeah, I'm not surprised that they're going to bring Epstein victims, but I don't know why they would bring them to the State of the Union address swamped out, because quite frankly, the Democrats are the ones mostly mentioned in the Epstein files. So pretty silly of them to do that. They think it's going to work. It's going to backfire against them. I don't see what you said that's rude. So what's the issue here? Maybe I missed something you said. And since your texts weren't deleted, I'm guessing that they must not have been rude. Destroying Republicans in special elections, blue midterm, green, blue midterm, blue wave is given. No, untrue, swamped out. You can believe that all you want, but it's not true. Pam Bondi hearing is the death knell for America. America's falling. Well, you were just being a hate wanker there, aren't you? Free trade is the way. There is no free trade. The U.S. imposed a 2% tariff on Europe. They imposed a 10% tariff on us. The U.S. imposes no tariffs on South Africa. They impose a 70% tariff on our poultry, ban our pork products, and set quotas on our other products. Yeah, free trade's the right way, but Swamp Tail, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just talking out your ass. Talking out your ass. People were rude to the soldier. I said they should not, but chose to be kind. Oh, gotcha, Swamped Out. So who's talking about being rude then? Funny how that story by CBS is going viral, but my videos talking about the same things aren't going anywhere because of YouTube shadow banning. I reported on this story. I don't know if I want to say first because I held back on it. I think Shelley Hepburn's the first to actually report on this story. Yeah, I think Shelley Hepburn, I have to give her credit. I think she's the first because I knew about it, but I didn't talk about it because people were being sensationalist. And until I can actually see it for myself firsthand, I was unwilling to just take people at their word. Shelley Hepburn did take people at their word, and so I investigated. So I think she was first. But I've been reporting on this for some time, and no resonance. What Shelley does and what I do get no attention. Now CBS covers it. Now everybody wants to talk about it. Typical, just like Nick Sorter getting all the credit for the work that that old guy did in Minneapolis for the last decade, documenting and recording the fraud being committed by Somalis and ignored by the media until Nick Sorter on YouTube gets all the attention. Yep, that's how it goes, folks. That's how it goes. The pioneers get screwed and forgotten. The people that cover the story just get forgotten. No, I don't do hearsay. Oh, did I say Nick? I meant Nick Shirley. My apologies, Janine. Thank you for correcting me. I said Nick Sorter. It's Nick Shirley. My bad. Yeah, CBS News is covering it now. It's a problem. Well, it was a problem before. You're not hearing what I'm saying, Janine. I didn't say you didn't give the guy credit. I'm saying that that guy did all the work. And he's not the one that got the credit. He's not the one that the media focused on. It's Nick Shirley they're focusing on. Yep. Shelley Hepburn reported this. She made a story about it. I did several stories about it. I actually went. I'm the only one. This CBS News journalist hasn't gone and seen this stuff. People are telling her. It doesn't mean it's not true. I actually gone and seen where people are living. Actually seen the conditions. So anyway, whatever. You know, that's what happens. You work for a big media outlet. You get attention. Andres Muller, thank you for the 50 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Super sticker. Have I missed any? Atheltrop, those refugees should name and shame the people back home that sold them this. Where did Atheltrop say that? Did Atheltrop actually say that? Tell me where you saw that guy. Because I'll call Athel out on that. Oh, moving on your case. Congratulations. 2 of our Discord members who want to remain anonymous have together contributed $70 to your PayPal account. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go there. Thank you for sharing that with me, Lou. As I said, I don't go there very often. The men's 10,000. Let's see what's going on. Cortina event is concluded. Okay, so I missed the end of it. So the 10,000's over. What's going on now? Now we've got, is it skating? What's going on? The Olympics. Yes, I got to sit through a 15-second commercial. Let me go to my PayPal. Let me go there. Okay, log in. That's a problem. You know, a lot of people become first movers in technology, and then someone else comes along. I see. Oh, wow. 3, 4, 5 contributions, which I hadn't seen. Thank you, guys. Gosh, yes. Yes, thank you for that. I didn't know. I haven't been in there. So $70. Yeah, I see those too. 30 and 7 and a 40 donation, plus someone gave a bit more previous to that on the 8th of February. Wow. And another $20 and $20. Thank you so much for that, guys. Thank you so much. The other people who gave on February 1st, do you want me to mention your name? With the PayPal, I don't mention people's names unless people tell me it's okay. But thank you for that. Wow, that's okay, wait a second. How do I have British pounds? Why doesn't it? I have British pounds in here. Why doesn't that give me dollars in my balance? That's weird. That's weird. I don't understand my balance. Like, why do I have pounds? It should convert it to dollars. I guess wow. That's weird. That's weird. Anyway, that's an odd one. I'm not trying to figure that one out. Usually it converts automatically, so that's strange. Anyway, but thank you so much for those PayPal donations. That's very kind of you. Lou, thank you for the 70 rand right there. And Debbie Ackman, thank you for this. You're very welcome. CWS requested a document for me today. They deleted my reply without reading it. You don't worry about it, Chris. Don't worry about it. This is, one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. You're not the first person that's happened to. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. People being told to upload documents only for someone to delete the email without even reading it. There's someone's looking into this right now. I can tell you that. Okay, well, I can't get into my X account, so that's a problem. Let me just look for Ethel Trop. So I can't go there. That's what the State Security Agency wanted. I wouldn't be able to do that. Ethel Trollope on X. So unless someone sends me a link, I really can't get to it. Okay, because when I go to his site, it'll make me sign into an account after I get past the first thing. It just won't let me look at stuff. Let me see. So, Ethel Trollope. Okay, let me see. Oh, it will show me. I'm looking at his account. Well, this goes back to June. It's not giving me the current stuff. I see nothing in Ethel Trollope's account talking about this. This only goes to July 28th. So maybe it doesn't show me the current stuff. So if somebody has that, let me know. I haven't seen that. Hey, Joe. YouTube's definitely whack, I know, and live for 1800 News and no red dot saying live. Wow. Okay. And Low Card just gave 150 rand. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for that. I asked, have you been able to look in the WhatsApp message? Yes, I did. I did, Ian. Again, for the 1,000th time to people here, I do not tell you if I'm looking into your shit, okay? I've gotten several messages today. What about this? Stop. I'm not going to sit here and play phone tag with people. Did you get something? Did you get something? Did you get something? Did you get something? I have a lot of crap to do. And I'm taking care of a lot of people whom I have no responsibility to take care of. When I look into your shit, I look into your shit. If I can do something, I do something. I don't sit here and tell you so then you pester me every 5 minutes. This is not direct to you, Ian, but it's at all the people who are doing this. If you send me something, I ask you to send me something, then understand that I've made an effort. It's like the people sending emails to RSC. You're sending them tens of thousands. They don't have time to answer all that stuff. You're clogging things up. You want to see what I got today? Because of this bullshit? Let me show you what I got today. That's what WhatsApp does when you receive 10,000 messages in a day. That's what they do. They shut down your messages coming in. You don't get them. Francois Ferrer, thank you for your membership. If I could super chat with Krugerrands, wow, that'd be nice, Monster. Thank you very much for the 200 Rand. Thank you very much for that. And Werner Senecal, thank you for your membership. Anyway, again, guys, back to this. And again, it's not directed at Ellen, but it's just it's built up because this morning. Again, you don't like me. What? Why aren't you responding? Your last message, not you, this is not Ian, okay? People don't say, your last message was on January 30th. You write to me on February 7th and say I'm not responding to you. You wrote to me, I looked into it. I don't have a response for you. That doesn't mean I don't like you. Oh. Hmm. 14 messages, 204 messages, 145 messages, 8 messages, 4 messages, 7 messages, 3 messages, 1 message, 6, 5, 4, 8, 7, 6, 3, 4, 132, 1, 3, 18, 175 unread messages. 2/3 of those are from individuals, not from groups. That's WhatsApp alone. Then there's Signal. Then there's Telegram. Then there's thousands of messages in my email, my private email. Then there's my account email. Guys, take a break. The worst thing you can do is promise somebody something you can't deliver. Why in the world would I promise something that I can't deliver? I get enough crap from people. Okay? I just mentioned something a few moments ago that someone said in the chat where half a dozen people have pestered me about. And asking me a question isn't asking me a question, but sending me repeated messages all the time for an update when I'm updating 1,000 people is pestering me. So the question that came up and mentioned in the chat a few minutes ago, someone mentioned, which is fine in the chat, said that they were told to upload a document and then it was deleted. Something I'm aware of. But several people have told me that. And I said I would look into it. And I've heard from several people, what's the status? What's going on? I don't work for the government. People don't work for me. I have to convince people to do things. Don't worry about how people get the number. Thank you, student, for the 35 Rand. I missed that. Apologies. Okay. Anyway, again, so a lot of people attribute when I respond that way to something to a person. That was not directed at Ian. Let's be clear about that. It was directed at the situation because it goes on all the time. I mean, I've got one person who's freaking out. You hate me. I hate you. Where do you get that from? Did I say I hate you? Never said that. Well, you're not answering my messages. The last message you sent me was 2 weeks ago. And I responded. I just don't get this, you know? What's going on, Hasigi? Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what people expect. Do they think that I just sit here and spend 24 hours a day answering their messages and getting answers, and that I control USCIS? I don't control USCIS. Don't even work for the government. The government doesn't even have the courtesy to recognize the work I've done to save my country embarrassment. They don't recognize that. The government has done nothing to help me. Nothing, you know. I mean, I know a few people in the government, and sometimes those people are able to help other people. Oftentimes they can't. So I do what I can. I do what I can. And there are other people who actually have contact with government officials, and they don't bother to share that. Whatever. Whatever. We make the most of it. The closed fist is to show you love the country you're stealing from. Okay, that's interesting. Have a friend who also says he watches your videos. He asked me to ask questions. Questions are, see part 2. Can we get a divorce now, please? This is really not nice to be married to you. I never see you and you already have another 6 wives. Corey, I'll be honest, Corey, I didn't know we were married. No, I'm not a call center. I have no people in South Dakota working for me, and I have no Indians in Bangalore working for me. Hello? You've contacted the Wyatt call center. Press 1 to footsec. Press 2 to ask your question if it's not refugee related. And press 3 if Hey, boss. Boss, they're calling again. What shall I tell them? Yeah, I don't know about which video that was, Jules. Flash is saying, sorry, Corey. Oh, my goodness. Where's the question at, man? Anton Muller had a question. I'm waiting. He must be typing it up patiently. Snippets. Hi, everyone. I'm late. It's okay. You're about to leave. Hello and goodbye. All in the same phrase. Thank you for the 14-man super chat. Hey, Utopia, what's going on, man? Well, they're not using me to get ahead of others, Stratcott. I'm judicious about which ones I respond to. You need a holiday. Nah, well, let's check my blood pressure. And I'm all excited in talking. Let's do, where's this thing at? We got this app on here. Come on. Come on. Let's check my blood pressure. Where's it at? Cardia. There we go. Cardia Mobile. Let's try it. It's been a while since I did this. Yeah, I don't want to upgrade. You guys want more money all the time. I bought your stupid device. Quit trying to get more money out of me. No, I don't want this. Okay, let's record my EKG. Okay, so I'm supposed to put my fingers on, I think. Okay, make sure I'm on the network here. No, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. Okay, here we go. Record blood pressure. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see the results. Brachycardia is good. And 49 beats per minute. Top there. Brachycardia, 49 beats per minute. Pretty healthy heart. I have a blood pressure cuff there too. So that's not my blood pressure, but that's my heartbeat. 49, that's a very healthy heart. 49 beats. I mean, most people are up in the 70s, 80s. It's like a hummingbird, but my heartbeat is very healthy. So there you go. I'd have to put the blood pressure cuff on to see. But I've had sugar and caffeine this morning, so it's probably higher. Yep, Corey, I am fit. And that's even after putting on 15, 20 pounds from not being able to exercise because my hip for so long. Yep, 49 beats per minute. So you guys think I'm all excited something's going to happen. Yeah, no, I'm okay. All right, so Anton, you finally send something. Okay, I see part 3. I don't see part 2. Exactly. Anyone who has a content in USCIS should not send information. This seems being biased and possibly a personal livelihood at risk. Exactly. Okay, I don't see Anton. Okay, part 2. He really wants to apply and if successful wants to start working there. He said he's an operation. Okay. Part 3. Where's part 3 at? An operation that will make him dependent for approximately 6 weeks. Problems are with approximately 3 months assistance. Not sure if he will get assistance. I don't understand that. Great, Ian. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I want to make it clear that that wasn't directed to you, Ian. It wasn't directed to you. I did see your messages that I finally got to, which I didn't see for days. Yeah, and I did. I can want to say take action. I did make an effort trying to get some information about that. You're 89 over 60. You don't have to have an American bank account to do PayPal. Are you using a VPN? People have PayPal over the world. I get sent money in Rand. You should be dubbed liaison, an official position. You're already doing the job. Yeah, exactly, G9. Thank you, Ian, for not taking offense. I'm glad some people act like children when I do that, so you're not one of them. Thank you. Thank you, Atmospheric, for becoming, well, you've been a member for a long time. Will they do an operation that he needs? Okay, Anton, I don't know what you're asking. Okay, I think this is what you're asking. It's hard because the chat, so let me try, Anton. Somebody you know has an operation they need. Presumably it's not life-threatening or they can't go anywhere. It's going to take a recovery period. Will the Americans do the operation for him? Is that what you're asking? I mean, that really doesn't help me. Does he want to, have his tallywhacker cut off? Does he have open heart surgery he needs? Does he just need to have an organ removed? Eye surgery? I mean, look, I'm not trying to intrude, but people have come over as refugees who get refugee medical assistance, which lasts for a short period of time, and those put on Medicaid who have families get the care. They get the care. I mean, Jay Langton had surgery, or not surgery, had treatment for cancer. She had stage 2 cancer, I think cervical cancer, I'm not mistaken, but she had cancer, and she got treatment. She's doing much better now. So I'm not really sure how to answer the question, other than the way I just did, and hopefully that does. Oh my goodness, Maddie, I can chase you on one hip. Trust me, I can probably catch you. Would they get rid of Stan? Who is Stan? 118 over 83. 118 is pretty good. 83 is a little high. Not bad. Under 90 is good. Heartbeat 7 to oxygen. Alan, that's pretty good. Your oxygenation is 95. Could be better. I mean, with asthma, for asthmatics, it's tough to get that 95 or better. PayPal Rex fees are ripoff. No, they're not, thing announced. No, they're not. No, they're not. PayPal takes about 3% of foreign transactions. They take nothing for U.S. transactions. YouTube takes 30%. So, no, they're not a ripoff. MoneyGram and Western Union take 8 to 15%. So, no, PayPal's not a ripoff. It's a business. They got to make money. Indian government has expanded eligibility for 5th, 6th, and 7th generations of South African descendants. Wow. Well, Guy, that's a pretty premature question. There's been no determination from the U.S. government if they still qualify. That's why I told people they should move first. So I'm not sure the answer on that one. I'm a zombie. Marissa's a zombie. What song did you make, Mr. Vibes, and how did you send it to me? Don't know about any song. Who the hell is this? Yes, Indians do qualify for the refugee program. We know that. We just interviewed Indians yesterday, so I don't know what Modi's up to. Bad apples everywhere. I haven't had issues with a friend of mine. He sent boxes to USA. We want to arrive at a destination in South Africa. Operation will change him from disabled to not disabled. He's scared he will use up his help before able to start working there. I don't understand that. So he has a disability, and this will restore it, presumably. So I don't understand. Does he want care in the U.S.? Does he want care in South Africa? I'm sorry, Anton. I'm trying to track this, but it's very difficult. Send me an email, please, and maybe I can figure out what he's talking about there. Look, I mean, so what I would say about this is, and I don't mean to be mean to that person, but it sounds to me like they're destination shopping. Either their life is in jeopardy and they want to get out, or they don't. It's as simple as that. If you're a quadriplegic and your life is threatened, you want to get out. If you're injured, need surgery, you want to get out, you still try to get out. The lady who was shot in the head still wants to get out. She's in the hospital recovering, and hopefully she'll be back soon. Actually, the husband wrote to me, so let me see what he said, if I can reveal anything here without... Okay. Okay. Why is it not showing up here? There it is. Okay. I spelled it wrong. Okay, the lady's face is decreasing the swellingness and puffiness. Trauma doctor is happy the fever's gone. They're going to reduce the sedation. Okay. No bleeding on the brain. And the husband wants to thank everyone for their prayers in her healing. Hopefully she'll be ready to fly in 6 weeks. They have them down as a priority. Okay. She's improving daily. Okay, cool. All right, so that's what's going on there, folks. Okay, so there you go. Yep, that's with the lady who was shot in the head. Okay. With the SAVE Act passed in the House, it just needs to pass the Senate. Correct. That's all that has to happen, Werner. It has to go through the Senate. Yeah, that is amazing, Meerkat. It is absolutely amazing that this lady survived. So, and again, for all those speculating about what happened, people talking about home invasion, refugees. I saw this site that does AI, and it runs stories. They say a second South African refugee was attacked. Are they being targeted? We don't know that there was even an attack here. We don't know. We don't know the circumstances still to this day. Yeah, it is excellent news, Barbie. It's really good to hear. Hey, Marlene Gregorio. It isn't. Yeah, it's truly amazing. Uber driver killed on camera, but thanks to X, both murders have been identified within hours. Even their names have been revealed. I didn't know about that. Thank you, Froly Joe. Ian says, I've been following you for more than a year now, and I know when you lose your crap with person. All good. Okay, thanks, Ian. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, but what happens typically, somebody says something in the chat, and see, the thing is not you, Ian, but people in the chat think, oh, you're the first person that's had this problem. You're the first person that brought up it. Now the colonel's attacking me. No, I go to great lengths to make, unless someone's being a deuce in the chat, I go to great lengths to say that it's not about you. Your message just prompted a discussion about many times this has come up. So, yeah, I appreciate the flexibility and understanding. All right, I need to take a break. I've got an interview in 20 minutes, so I need to stretch my legs, check my mail. You know, we have postal service here, and it works. And my mail delivery used to come late in the afternoon. Now it comes early afternoon. So, many good things about Japanese and German methods reduce masses. Okay. All right, Shawnee, I don't know about that. Probably much better off recovering the USA since the chances of getting shot again are greatly reduced. She's very lucky, yeah. Well, I mean, but luck is one thing, but yeah, she's getting apparently good care there. So good news to hear from the husband, and I hope that she's well, and I hope we get a chance to talk to her at some point. Anyway, all right, guys. Got a refugee interview coming up. You'll be directed to that. There's a short break here, about 15 minutes, and then we'll be live with the Smiths. Should be an interesting story. As I understand it, they have 2 adopted black children as well, just like the Stoltz family. All right, so that should be an interesting conversation, see what happens there. Alrighty then. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. And how are we doing here? Viewer active. 309 likes. Okay, cool. And we've dropped from 368 people. See, the audience is smaller. YouTube is not telling people about the program. Or maybe the content sucks. I don't know. Does the content suck? You guys tell me. Maybe I'm just not delivering on the content. That could be what the problem is. Cheers.